For the longest time, and I don't know why, I wanted to be a drummer. I asked my parents for a drum kit every Christmas, and it was never under the tree. And in 7th grade, I was like begging for a drum set, and I woke up, and there was a guitar under the tree. And so my brother's friend took guitar lessons. He's like, I can give you the number of the guy. And so I called him up, and I just started taking lessons, and I really got into it and stuff. So I just kept on playing and started writing. I was writing way before. I feel like most people just like learn covers and are constantly playing. I started writing like 6 months into playing guitar. Yeah, so I had a punk band and was in that forever and just kept playing punk and pop punk. And eventually, I think the reason I like moved away from all that, like in my old band, everything was so simple, and like I had to dumb myself down for everything. That's sounds so cocky and arrogant. I loved my old band, you know what I mean? But I wanted to do more.
My audition for Keene State was, I believe, in March. And I actually remember seeing Anthony at my audition. I didn't talk to him or anything, but I remember it was him. So then the first day of orientation, I saw him again because we were in the same orientation group. We're all music majors. And I remembered him, and I started talking to him about hardcore, like the kind of music that I listen to. And I'd always been into heavier music. We had a lot of bands in common that we listened to, Taking Back Sunday, Hawthorne Heights, but as far as like our really strict tastes go, he was much more of a punk guy, and I was a lot more into like hardcore and I guess more of what would be considered the metal scene, although I don't consider myself a metalhead or anything. So it was the first night at Keene. He and I grabbed our acoustic guitars and we jammed out by the lake, which was cool. We were coming up with some cool stuff. And I had wanted to really try and start a band because nothing ever, took off with any of the bands that I had in high school.
When I first met him, when he was like first started singing, his voice was so pretty, and so like it was just so good, like every girl would like his voice because it was so pretty. So he wanted to start a hardcore band, and I'd only heard him sing like acoustic stuff. So I was like, I didn't know if he had like any power behind it. And then we really started writing and stuff, and he's such a genius.
He was eager to hear my voice in like a rock context, because I was only with just acoustic stuff. He always says I have a pretty voice. I don't know if that's true because I don't pay attention to my own voice, but he wanted to hear it in the context that we would be working in. So it was a while before he got to hear that. But he was taking things pretty slow. He had bands before that he'd been really serious about, so he wanted to take things slow. He wanted to jam and see where things went. So we did that for a while, and we just kind of ran with it. We weren't sure exactly where it was going to go, if we were going to do a whole lot with it, but that's how we started writing As for Other stuff.
Then we had Devin.
Demetrius, who was my suite mate at the time, came up to me and was like, listen, me and Anthony, who I had known because we were all in an orientation group together, have been writing some stuff and we need a drummer. Would you be down? And I was like, well, yeah, that'd be sick.
And I lived in the same suite as Devin. I was suite mates with Devin. I shared a bathroom with him, and I knew that he was into heavier music. I didn't know him all that well, but I knew that it was something we could try. I knew he was pretty good. I didn't know how good he was until we played with him.
I didn't like Devin at first, and then I sort of got to know him a little bit, and I tolerated him. But then, not that I disliked him, but so me and Demetrius kept trying to start this band, and he was like, we could try Devin or whatever, and I was like, alright, whatever. So I go and I listen to him drum, and I was sold. It was like seeing God, man. He was so good.
He really showed us how talented he actually was that night.
Like, he sort of brings that energy level that's like needed, because Demetrius is just friggin' so grumpy all the time. It's like we'll be going to a show and Demetrius doesn't give a shit. I half give a shit, and Devin's just bouncing up and down, so excited.
Yep, they hired me for my dashing good looks. It's definitely not for my drumming abilities.
So, around winter break was when Anthony and we sort of decided that as long as Devin's cool with it, he'll be a permanent part of whatever the project ends up being. So when we decided, we kind of had been talking about the idea of recording for a while. When we decided that's what we wanted to do, I asked Pat, I was like, hey, we're going to be recording some of our music at some point during spring break or the summer. Do you want to jam with us, work with us a little bit?
They didn't really ask. I just kind of ended up there.
I knew he played bass and he was one of my best friends. So I was like, we need a bassist, I can talk to Pat, and Demetrius and Anthony were like, yeah, that sounds cool.
He just sort of, one day Demetrius came up to me and was like, we have a bass player now. I'm like, cool. And that was Pat. That's really the story of Pat. And like we just got along, and like everything was cool. Pat's transition in was just very, very smooth.
He's the comedic relief when he needs to be. He knows when to keep things from getting way too serious.
Like, he's the social media whore, he has the connections, he has the ideas for where we want to go, how we want to do this, and like the business ideas. He's the real promoter. He's actually smart. We're done.
Within a couple months, the four of us kind of integrated. There wasn't really a reason to do anything other than feel like we were a permanent unit.
It was different back then in a punk band, it's so full of energy and just lyrics and just raw in-your-face stuff. So with this, it's sort of, I guess, to show people what you can do, but I don't know. I've never wanted anything other than this. Like, even when I was a kid, before I could even play an instrument, before I even really listened to music, so this was just always what I'd wanted. And I wanted to do something a little bit different. Something me and Demetrius have spoken about always since the beginning is, a lot of times in this genre, because you're always writing in minor, there's always screaming, you can get really negative. Like, a lot of this music gets seriously friggin' negative, and that's something we never wanted to do. And we talk about that a lot.
It can be very, very angsty, but it can also be very, very uplifting. And when it comes to lyrics, it's all about what you take out of it.
If your performance level is good enough, there's nothing you can't say or get out, or have a cathartic experience with music. And so me and Demetrius, who are always on the same page and see eye to eye with everything, literally everything. We've never not seen eye to eye on an issue or a feeling or a way to interpret a situation or emotion. And that reflects through our music and working together. We're always on the same page.
I don't know if you all remember it, but we spent like an hour trying to figure out what to do here, and we came to the collective agreement that we were writing a crash. No, I'm talking just his hands. I don't remember what you did with it.
I'm talking tone-wise.
A lot of the songwriting itself actually comes from me. I write on the EP. I wrote the rhythm guitar for most of everything, and I write my vocal parts as well. It's usually Anthony and I. We sit down with guitars and we go through. We write the individual parts and then we mesh them together.
When we write, usually Anthony and Demetrius come up with certain ideas.
And I'm like the visionary. I sort of see how the song is going to be at the end before we're there.
Like I said, Demetrius is just the genius.
He's like the guy with the picture of that puzzle on the box, and none of us can see the picture. He just kind of helps us put it all together, and he's like the big creative force.
There are times I hand him everything. I hand him all my solos, my riffs, my ideas, my everything. I give it to him, and he puts it together. I have no idea where we're going. He knows it all.
We take an idea and we go with it, or we come up with a concept and we try to create something around it. It really depends. I like writing with an idea in mind and a concept in mind. And without a doubt, there's songs on the EP like Hooks for Hands and Do You Like My Drawing. Those songs have a real emotional base. Like that's me getting my feelings out or whatever.
Me and Demetrius are both incredibly self-analytical people, and that's reflective in our music.
What's up, guys? I'm the drummer. I'm Devin, and this is the first of many studio updates for Eyes for Others recording our EP. We are going to hit the road. We're heading down to New Jersey, where my guitarist Anthony lives, and we're gonna record our EP. So here's the first of many studio updates. See you in the car.
Spirit animals. Who's everybody's spirit animal? What's Devin's? Still haven't figured this out. I'm very complex. I'm just kidding. Come on! I don't want to be a naked mole rat.
We all get along really, really well. There's always, just like in every band and every friendship, there's always little riffs that go on in between each of us. Some days one of us will just have a crappy day, and that's when we know to stay away. But these guys are always here for me.
They told me they needed a guitarist, a rhythm guitarist for a show that was coming up.
Mark McCarthy.
Get down.
It has been an honor playing with you this past year. Would you play guitar with me in Australia as an official member? Oh my God, yes, sir! It's a yes, everybody! Yeah!
I was completely shocked. I wasn't expecting it.
We had the whole proposal thing. It went great. He said yes. We had a band hug and launched right into Sugar. It was unbelievable.
And I love Mark. He's a great kid, and I'm happy to have him around.
But now I'm in the band. I have a solid connection with these guys. I love them, and it's been fun.
And everything's going good. We're starting to write together, and our styles work together, and he's so good, he's so chill, and now he's just, another part of the family.
It was a much more natural process, I think, than maybe most bands end up kind of becoming friends, but it worked for us.
There wasn't the immediate oh my God, we're friends now.
We all kind of introduced each other to different music, and we all had our own little influences, and I think that's what contributes to our sound.
There were bands that would use that tone.
We're in the WKNH studio. Well, we're tracking our new song, which is a PSA about octopuses and how they will literally kill you.
They're just about octopuses, man. And octopuses will literally kill you, dude.
To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what it's about. I know it's definitely about a relationship with a member of the opposite sex. And it's actually about how octopuses will literally kill you.
It's much more representative of our sound than anything on the EP is, and it's definitely the best thing we've written in full up to this point.
Music has been a lifesaver for me on more than one occasion.
The first point of music is to deal with therapy. It's dealing with your feelings and all that stuff.
Like, feeling the vibe from everyone around you it makes it all worth it.
You're responsible for taking this physical act and creating something that means something to somebody.
When you look forward to a band practice on a Thursday night after 12 hours of classes, you know that you're doing something right.
The fact that you can create something in the moment that you're experiencing exactly as it happens and express any kind of emotion or convey a message and still make something happen that's unique is awesome to me, and it's an awesome feeling.
Like, if you're on stage and everybody's listening to you, they're listening to what you have to say, man. That's, what more can you ask for? And this is what, everybody says, and you just, you want to be like that. You're just messed up or sad or something, and you write a song about that, and you're literally just doing it to get out your feelings or do something. If that, it's the cliche that everybody says, if that honestly reaches somebody else, are you kidding me? What more can you ask for? You're helping yourself and somebody else at the same time. There's nothing better.
Canvas eyes and a heart-stained mind to wish me open again. The pieces made with fragile time, only held together then. And no one but ourselves to blame for blanket silence and sadness like a game. Analogies breaking down on me, but I can't be the one to end this fight. Well, I get what I need tonight, and it wears on me to know what I can see is so much further from the truth I want. I need release again. Statues wail with a pauper's gain. Our oldest wish is encaged, and I beg to see a triumph in this war we name. Something makes it worth it.